Okay, let's do another video here on the same worksheet. So it's chapter 5, worksheet 2F. And this time we're going to do problem number 2, which is going to be exactly backwards from what we did on problem number 1. So in this case, we want to, we have a bell curve again. We have the same mean and standard deviation. So the mean is still 45,000 miles. That's in the middle. That's mu. And then we have the same standard deviation. So that's, again, 4,800 miles. So that's sigma. That's how spread out the data is. Remember, the standard deviation tells us the distance from the average to this point right here. So that's how spread out the bell curve is. The mean, we call mu, is in the middle of the bell curve. Okay, now in this case, number 2 on this worksheet, we're the tire manufacturer, we're making these tires, and we're gonna offer a warranty, but we only wanna replace 7% of the tires that we sell. So if we have really poor performing tires, you know, somebody will bring them back and say, hey, your tires didn't last very long. I think you should buy me some new ones. I think you have to replace the ones because these didn't last very long. So we want to replace just 7% of the tires. So I want to know the mileage are we going to use so that if we warranty our tires for 30,000 miles, we'll only have to replace 7% of them. What mileage should we warranty the tires for? So we only have to replace 7% of the tires. So in this case, I'm telling you the percentage, and I'm asking for the mileage. So what mileage is going to be, an X value, right? That's going to be an X. So the previous problem, I told you the mileage, and I asked you for the percent. In this problem, I'm telling you the percent, and I'm asking for the mileage. So the exact same problem, but backwards. So so I'm telling you now that the percentage is 7%. Well, percentage is area. And the 7% is going to be this area here. So this area here is going to be 0.07. I'm going to write it with 4 digits. So the area is 0.0700, which means it's going to be this little bit in the tail here. So we're going to replace the tires if they get this amount of miles or less. And if that amount of miles or less is, we want that to just be 7% of our tires. So in this case, we've got the area over here we know is going to be 7%, and we want to find what the X is. Okay, so this is going to be our X right here. What X do we use? So we only have to replace 7%. Only 7% of tires will get less than this amount of miles. Okay, so how we do that is it's going to be the exact same problem but backwards. So instead of doing the Z and then going to the table, we're going to go to the table first, and then we'll do the Z formula. So we want I'm telling you the area to the left of this X here is 0.0700. So we have to look in the body of the table now until we find the 4-digit number. So that's why you write areas with 4 digits, because these are all 4-digit numbers in the body of the table. This is a little tricky. We have to find the 4-digit number in the body of the table that's closest to 0.0700. And you'll have to practice this, and after a while you get pretty good at it. But right now you're going to look for the number in all these 10,000 numbers here that's closest to 0.0700. So I look down here, and here's a 05, here's a 10. Here's a 04, here's a 07. Oh, right there's a 07. Here's a 0721, a 0708, a 0694. So here's a 708 and a 694. Which one of those is closer to 0700? And it's going to be the 0698. So what I would recommend you do is when you find these numbers that are close to a whole digit, you want to circle them. So I'm going to circle that 0694 because I'm going to use that again probably. Now what you do once you find the 0700 is you go over to the left and you go up to the top. So if I go over to the left, I get negative 1.4. So an area of 0700, this is an area, is going to give me a z of negative 1.4, I think. Yeah, over here is negative 1.4. And then I look up at the top and I get 0.8. So I add the 1.4 and the 0.8 together and I get negative 1.48. Okay? And that is a z. So you start, in these kinds of problems, when I give you the percent to start with, you go to the table first and you work backwards through the table and then you get the z. So from this 0700, I work backwards and I got a z of negative 1.48. Now, once I have the z, then I can use the formula backwards. This is the z formula. So here's the z formula. Z equals x minus mu over sigma. And if I work that backwards, I solve it for x. I get x is equal to z times sigma plus mu. And this is on the back of your formula sheet. This formula here is on the back of your formula sheet down at the bottom next to the z formula. So there's a z formula down there and there's an x formula down there. So both these formulas are on your formula sheet on the back at the bottom. So we're going to use this formula. I know what the z is negative 1.48. I know what sigma is from the problem, it's 4,800. And I know what mu is from the problem, which is 45,000. So I put that into the formula, and that'll tell me my x, and that you're going to do with your calculator. So I'm going to go negative 1.48 times 4,800 plus 45,000. So that's on my calculator. And I push equals, and I get, I made a mistake. I forgot the decimal. Let me back up here and try that again. So negative 1.48 times 4,800 plus 45,000. So that, I think, will work. Let's see if I got that right. No, it's 1 point. Oh, the decimal on my calculator is a little sticky. Let me try it again. There we go. But I forgot the negative. Negative 1.48. I got to practice a little bit more here. So do you, right? So negative 1.48 times 4,800 plus 45,000. Then that turns out to be 37,896. 37,896. And that'll be this number right here, 37,896 miles. So if we guarantee our tires for 37,896 miles, only 7% of them will last less than that amount of time. So we'll have to replace about 7% of these tires if we guarantee them for 37,896 miles. So that's problem number 2. Let's see what else they ask here. So we got a z of negative 1.48, and that is below average. Negative is always going to be below average. And then the answer here is going to be 37,896 miles. And by the way, that will be the 7th percentile, right? P07. Because its score, that score, 37,896, we would call the 7th percentile because only 7% of tires will last less than that, will be to the left of that. So that's problem number 2 on Chapter 5, Worksheet 2F.